Hi Siemens, welcome back to my channel, Sew with Ara, and this is Ara. On this channel, I teach people how to sew step by step. So if you're a beginner or you're already in the game but you need some tips on how to do different stuff, this is the right place to be. Okay, so today, without wasting time, today what I want to teach is simple terms that are used in fashion. Simple terms that you use day to day in your fashion business or your fashion company, your fashion world. So let's dive right into it. So the first on my list is fabric. Fabric is the material that you want to make your dress or your attire with. So we have different type of fabric. We have ankara, we have lace, we have chiffon, we have crepe, we have tweed, we have fleece. We have different kind of fabric, and I think fabric should be a topic on its own where I'll tell you different fabric that we have. But these are the ones that I'm listing for today. So the second one is pattern. So it's the guide that you put on your fabric. So let's say pattern is a guide that you put on your fabric to cut out the desired style. Okay, so on your pattern, you have already input all your measurements, you've cut out your style lines and everything, then you put it on your fabric. So that is your pattern. So I will leave an image of a pattern here so that you can see. So the next one I have here is measurements. So it's a day-to-day terms that we use in fashion designing. So measurements, your shoulder measurements, your bust measurements, waist measurements, hip measurements that you use to create a fitted clothes dress style. That is measurement. So the next one I have here is seam. So um, your seam is the line where two pieces of fabric are joined together. So for example, this sleeve now, the point where you sew this together, where you join these two pieces together. Let's say the point where you join your front and your back bodies together, or the point where you join this and this together. You see that these are two different fabric. The point where you join them together, that is your seam. So the next one I have here is your seam allowance. So this is the extra fabric that you leave out after taking the basic thing, the normal measurement that you need. Example, when you're taking your waist measurements, my waist measurement is 24. So when you divide your 24 by 4, you will have 6. So after taking, let's say on your fabric you've marked 6, that's extra 1-2 inches that you leave. That is your allowance. That is your seam allowance. So you have 2 extra inches or an inch extra after taking the actual measurement that you need. Okay, so the next one that we have here is the hem. So the hem of your clothes is the, let me see what is here, is the neat finishing at the edge of the clothes, usually at the bottom. It's not just the bottom. This is the hem of this sleeve, and for this gown, you cannot see it. So for your gown, that's end part where you turn it inside, that's your hem. For your trouser, that's the down part where you turn it in, that is your hem. Okay, so the next one I have here is stitch. Stitch is a single loop of thread made by needle or sewing machine. So a stitch is that, when they say loop, that means you are intertwining, or you are putting one thread inside another. That is that's what they mean by loop. So that looping effect, or that sewing thing that your machine is doing with a thread, is called a stitch. So when you hear stitch line, make a straight stitch, make a curved stitch, that is a stitch. So that is one of the terms that you use every day in fashion business. Okay. So we have green lines. So for green line, we will have to use a fabric to make an example. So when they say green lines, I don't know if you can see this, but I'll try as much as possible to show it. The way the thread that they use to make your clothes, the way they are going is your green line. Like this. I don't know if you can see this. The way I'm holding it like this is going straight down. This is a green line. So some green line can be vertical. This is the vertical green line, and we have horizontal green line. Okay, so it's the way the threads they used to in making your fabric, the way it's going. This one that I'm holding now is going vertically. There are some that goes horizontally. So we have vertical green line and we have horizontal green line. And the reason the green line is important is when you cut your clothes correctly on the correct green line, it will help your clothes to sit perfectly on your body. And again, it will make it last longer. You will notice that if you pull this clothes like this, it is expanding to the side, and if you pull it like this, it's not expanding. So these are some uses of green line, because it also helps you to know where to use for your vertical measurements and where to use for your horizontal measurement. In this case, this place now that is stretching is where you use for your, is this horizontal? your horizontal measurements, and this place that is going down is what you use for your vertical measurement. I hope that is clear. So the next one we have here is ease. This clothes that I'm wearing now has no ease when I was making it. You put ease in your clothes to give it a little bit of breathing space. If you don't want it to tight and hug your body like this, the extra 0.5 inch that you put, that is your ease. So you put ease allowance. Ease is different from sewing allowance. Do you understand? Ease is different. Ease is part of the measurement. You sew your clothes with ease, but the extra one that you put is that one is for probably the person gets fatter, or maybe the clothes is tight at the end of the day. You need to make some adjustment. That is for sewing allowance. But for ease, you calculate ease with your measurement. Assuming like my waist is 24, if I want to add ease of 1 inch, I'll add that 1 inch to 24, making 25. So what I'm taking on my waist will be 25, not 24. So the extra 1 inch is ease allowance. I hope you understand. So the wrong face is described as the side of the fabric where sewing or stitches are made. Okay, so we have the right face of the fabric, we have the wrong face. So the wrong face is where you chalk and where you put your stitch on. That is the wrong face. Okay, so the next one that we have is we have block or basic body block. Okay, so when you are drafting your pattern, you say you have block or bodice. Do you understand? So in dressmaking, block can be described as the original cutting pattern or shape of the garment to be sewn, including allowance. So once you draft your pattern, let's say you are making a gown or a top, so that pattern that you draft out, that is your bodice or body block. Okay, so the next one here is facing. Your facing, okay, let me give you the definition. Facing can be described as a piece of fabric, whether designed or cut to a fashionable shape, used to decorate the front part of a dress or shirt. So when you cut a facing for a coat, let's say for this one that I'm wearing, the one that I used to turn it in to make it neat like this is the facing. So your facing, you can cut facing for neckline, you cut facing for when you make a skirt, and that one that you cut to turn it inside, that is your facing. Okay, so another one we have here is it's called notion. This is new to me too, like this. I recently found out. So notions are those things that you use in sewing. For example, your button, your button, your zipper, your hook, your elastic, your facing, all those small, your ribbons, all those small stuff that you use, they are called notions. Okay, I hope this helps. And you can do findings on more and more terms that we use, but these are the ones that I see that we use every day in fashion design. So see you next time. There are some foreign like fashion designer that I follow, and when they say some things, I will have to go back and check what they mean by what they are saying. So it's not because, so if you are like this and they say some things, you don't know what it is. Sometimes some people don't know something as simple as seam ripper. It's not as if you are not smart or you are dumb. It's because you don't know what you don't know. Okay, so it is fine. So that is why I compiled a list of things that I know, that at least basic things that all fashion designers must know as a beginner, so that you will not feel lost when they mention these things or when they say these things, or probably when you are watching a tutorial and they say these things, you will not feel confused. You know what it means. Okay, so that is why I did this. And again, you must do your own research. I cannot tell you everything. Nobody will teach you everything. You need to work by yourself and look for things that you need to know. Okay, so in my next video I will talk about the mistakes that beginners make in sewing and how to correct them, how to not make these mistakes as a beginner. So see you in my next video, I guess. Bye bye. But please try and comment, like, subscribe, share, see, help this channel grow. Okay, bye.